sort of view. It's not your typical going to school, follow the same students, you're with other people and you're learning new things. So a lot of people invest in rec programs. You know, the communities are investing in rec programs in the summer for kids just to have a place to go and to have fun. But maybe we could beef up those programs to add some educational elements as well.
Okay. Question. Do you and did you support additional taxes on car repairs and beverage sales?
I supported the tax reform bill that had some of those things in it because, as I said before, I thought the benefits outweighed those problems.
I did as well. I supported the tax reform bill because I thought it was the best thing to do for me. And I know that it's been broken down into fragmented pieces to use against us publicly. But the bill was one piece when we voted on it. And actually, each family would profit about $150 a year overall savings as a result of that bill.
I voted for it, and before I did, I looked at the research that had been done by the Maine Revenue Service on how it would impact the people that I represent in Lewiston, and 95% of the people in Lewiston would have either stayed the same in terms of their taxes or actually would have paid fewer taxes under the tax reform bill. It was something that was clearly going to help my community, and I did support it.
I'd like to add something in too, please. I supported the bill, obviously, and I was on the tax committee. There was no question probably the car repair was the big stumbling block, I believe, on that bill. And it's understandable, but you never heard on television, you know, people say, when a tourist going to come up here and get their car fixed? Probably true, but there would be some when they're on vacation, whatever. But nobody ever brought this up. If you buy a new vehicle, you have a warranty on it. I've got a 2007 GMC truck, still have a 100,000-mile warranty on the powertrain. If I had brought that in and it needed a new transmission, General Motors would have paid that, and they would have paid the sales tax. A lot of people buy extended warranties when they buy used vehicles. Same thing. And the extended warranties companies aren't in Maine. They're out of state. They pay the bill. They pay the sales tax. Think about when you get in an accident. You'll pay your deductible, but you're going to pay that anyway. Whether you pay part of it on sales tax or labor or whatever, you're going to pay it. But then the insurance company is going to pick up the rest of it. Those companies aren't in Maine. They're out of state. They pay the sales tax. So even some of that was getting exported.
Yes, I voted for it as well. Was the mix perfect in the public's eye? I think we all know it wasn't. But even today, if you ask Chip Morrison, head of the Anderson County Chamber, the fastest growing chamber of commerce in the state of Maine, he still believes strongly that we need to broaden the sales tax base and stop giving, especially non-residents, tax breaks that no other state does. For instance, New Hampshire has a 9% sales tax on quilting classes. They tax ski lifting. They call it a use tax, but it's a sales tax. State after state is doing this in order to lower their income tax, and we aren't doing it. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Chip Morrison. He knows what we need to do, I believe, to help our businesses grow and hire more people, and we can lower the income tax by broadening the sales tax, and he still believes that today.
I also voted on the sales tax, and the reason I voted for it, basically I had a difficult decision to make. However, the sales structure had to change. It had to be diversified. We had to find other mechanisms by which to bring in taxes and farming out those taxes to, of course, individuals coming into the state and other entities, as other states do. not uncommon was basically the way to go. I wasn't that happy with the sales tax on the repairs of vehicles. I much rather would have seen, wanted to see taxes on golf and skiing. And the reason for that is that basically individuals that have the extra money will do those activities, whereas you don't just go out and fix your car because you don't have anything else to do and you want to enjoy the day in the garage.
It was pretty obvious that I voted against that sales tax, and I just want to clarify, the auto repairs was the big thing, but along with that, when you had so many small business entities that didn't pay sales tax, didn't know how sales tax worked, when it comes to simple things like canoe rentals. You know, some private mom and dad that has canoes out behind their house by their river would have to charge tax on this canoe rentals, and they might not even own a computer, and all of a sudden they have to, through the internet, pay the state a sales tax and start keeping sales tax records. This was tough, and I'm going to surprise you because I'm going to say something that you might not think I would say, and that is that if you said, let's leave the sales tax structure the way it is, let's add a penny to the sales tax, and let's add a penny to the meals and lodging tax, you know what? By golly, you would have probably had my vote, because I think that would have been fair. I just didn't like the broad reach. Thank you.
I did serve on the taxation committee one term, and I hate to break it to you, but 1 cent sales tax increase wouldn't have given you enough money to lower the income tax rate in a sufficient manner. I did vote to lower the income tax rate by over 20% because it hurts small businesses, it hurts all Maine families. Part of the reason I voted for it, even though I didn't like the final product, was I had voted for tax reform in the previous session in the House. We passed tax reform. I voted for the most extreme form, which was put forward by Representative Dick Woodbury, who was an independent from Yarmouth and an economist, very well respected, because it would have lowered the income tax rate down to 4.5%, and it had a funding formula. I think if we're going to lower taxes and tell people we're going to lower their income taxes, we have to do it responsibly in a way that, you know, we still have state revenue that we can predict and provide those services that people expect from state government. They expect to have their roads paved, their children educated, and all those kinds of things. So I voted for it. It wasn't perfect. It's been repealed, but we have to try again, because having the 6th highest income tax rate in the country is bad for Maine, it's bad for Maine businesses, and it's bad for attracting people to our state. It's making it more and more difficult to keep high earners here. They make another state their residence when they get older. You see it all the time, 6 months in a day. People are living in Florida and the Carolinas, and it's not good for our economy.
If I could add one more thing that I forgot to say, I'd like to give you a few statistics. And these come from Maine Revenue Service, so if they're wrong, blame them, not me. I'm the messenger. They told us, and they helped us with the bill to refine it. They told us 96% of Mainers were going to do better on their income tax. The only people that would have done worse were people that had a very high percentage of deductions compared to their earnings. And that could land in any income group, okay? When we added those 102 new sales taxes, they told us 87 to 88% of Mainers were still going to do better, okay? They told us we were going to get $55 million extra from tourism. That, I wonder, that may have been a little high. Even if, say we only got 30 million, okay? The simplest way I can explain this to you, this is what it takes to run the state. This is the total income that the state gets, okay? Now you take a little sliver off that is going to be paid by tourists rather than Mainers. What is left is less money for Maine people. There's got to be more winners than losers. It's that simple.
I wasn't currently serving as never run for office before, but I would have supported it. I did some research before I made my vote on the ballot and saw that it
was gonna save me money. I was gonna have more money in my pocket at the end of the day. I definitely believe we need to look at lodging tax. Recently took a vacation with my family down to Virginia. Went into the motel, said, how much is it for a room for the night? $89.99. Good deal. Take it. When I went to pay the bill, it was $113. And I'm sitting there, wow. And all that was tax. Here in the state of Maine, I do a lot of snowmobile. I pay 5%, 7%, and it just, for me, I pay the tax no matter what, and because I'm going to use that service. And I think that the people that are coming in visiting the state, they don't ask how much tax it is for lodging. They're going to pay the bill. They ask the same thing I ask: how much is the room for the night?
As you can tell from my last answer to one of the questions, I supported the bill also, and I had my worries about the auto repair, as everyone else did here, but I thought it would be better for the whole to support it, and so I did, and I think we need to do it again, but much simpler.
I just had one quick thing. I just want to make a comment. I'm hearing a lot of folks that voted for this bill saying, I really had a hard time with this automobile repair problem tax. So you guys with the majority party, you outnumbered us by 96 to 55, something like that. Why didn't you get it changed?
Because it was better to have people have lower income taxes.
But just for a simple car repair, take car repairs off. That wasn't that big a deal. I'd had my vote. Maybe.
That's a start.
I voted on your side.
Hey, Bruce, can I hold you to that? I'd like to put in another bill and it won't have car repair. Already got it in planned.
Mike's watching you walk.
Yeah. Oh, I know Mike's my good friend.
Any last comments? In that case, I'll turn you over to my father, Karen Kenny, who would ask some more questions for you.
Hi. This one's related to education. Lewiston High School in the STEP program, what is being done to help fund the required assistance to youth who fall under the federal mandates of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act? For this year, all funding was removed from the school budget.
I can say that we have worked really closely with those people in Lewiston that deal with the homeless. New Beginnings staff work really hard to bring funding back to them, make sure that cuts didn't take place. And we've also worked really closely with the school system. This particular issue has not been brought, it hasn't been brought to me. So certainly I'm eager to work with the people in this community who are advocates for the homeless. I'm happy to work with Mary Seaman, who heads up the homeless youth program at the high school, but this isn't something that the superintendent or people at New Beginnings or Mary Seaman have brought to me.
I just want to say that I'm on the education committee, and frankly, I heard nothing about this.
So whoever wrote the question should talk to us.
Okay. The next one is about education also. It's a very important part of the solution to the problems Maine faces. The current financing of the education system has proven inadequate and becoming more burdensome to Maine taxpayers. What are the suggestions to fix this problem?
Yeah, this is a kind of a broad problem, a broad question, and it's really difficult to answer it, I think, because I'm not sure